Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a unique puzzle where it's white to play and with cooperation from black, win. So this is called a helpmate, and really the idea is that both sides are working together to find a checkmate for white. So it's kind of a hypothetical, theoretical puzzle. This is not something you'd see in a regular game, obviously. But take a second, see if you can find the idea for how white can possibly win this game. Look at the positions, pretty jam-packed here. You have this king, this knight, this bishop, and a bunch of pawns. All right, while you're thinking about that, let me ask you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income I earn in this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, every subscriber helps us out so much. Okay, let's take stock of this here. The goal is to work together, right? White and black are working together to find a win for white. Again, this is a helpmate. This is not a regular puzzle. In a normal puzzle, chess position, white cannot win. But working together, they can. So let's take stock here. We have all these pawns. And the first thing to notice, these pawns are blocking a lot of squares. So all these dark squares, which means the king can never get in, right? If the king were to run over here, just as an example, it can get to a2, but it's not going to be able to break in, right? Same idea with this knight. This knight could move if these pawns weren't here, but these pawns are fixed right now because of these two. So unfortunately, this knight can't move either. Okay, this bishop is free to move around. We have a lot of directions we can go, right? Just to show a few. But what's the idea there? What is that going to lead to? So again, this is a unique puzzle. Black has a lot of pieces too, right? And by that I mean two bishops of the same color. And all of their pawns are on dark squares. So how is it that I'm going to, break this knight out or break these pawns down somehow and get this king out? How do I do that? That's kind of the challenge, right? So you might think, like I said, maybe there's some way to move the bishop, I don't know, to a4 and try to do something, but really there's nothing to do, right? You can just, again, these are cooperating sides, but just to show an example, you get the piece here, and then what, right? There's nothing that really can be done. You can move the king, like I said, all the way over to a2, and there's nothing to do. And it should also be noted that stalemate isn't going to help either, because your king can always alternate like this between these two. So even if you gave up your bishop, that would not be a win, but it would at least be closer to a draw. But unfortunately, there's nothing happening there. So what is the idea? Well, it's not getting this knight out. It's not using these pawns and breaking out. Instead, you have to use this bishop in a very unique way. So maybe if you could get this king in a very weird position, you can use the bishop to give checkmate. So let's look at that idea. Maybe we just move the bishop here, for example. Maybe we try to bring the king in just to show a sample idea of what I'm talking about here. So maybe, again, both sides are cooperating, remember. Maybe something like this, and I put the king, I don't know, here. This is almost mate, right? You see kind of the idea? So maybe there's a way to do that. Does that give you a hint? Maybe if you started thinking about it and you weren't sure, now think about it a little bit more. There are some options here. Maybe you can find the idea. So that is the right concept. But the question is, how do we execute? Well, you have these two dark squared bishops, and you have to ask yourself, how can I configure the board in such a way where this check, whether it's with this bishop on this square, any of these squares, can give mate? So how do I lock my king into a place? So maybe you're thinking kind of like king in the corner, right? Just showing that idea. So the king can run all the way over here. If I make the right moves here, run all the way. Something like this. And unfortunately, you can't give check in this position, right? Their king's not really blocked in. There's a lot of white squares. So this is kind of the right configuration, but on the wrong side of the board. Do you see the answer now? Maybe that just gave it away. The answer is to configure the same idea in this little box, only do it on the other side of the board. Do it here. Now, why is that? Because you can corner the king in the white square. So let's see this. So for example, let's put the king back. Let me just move my bishop. Move the king back. So now if I were to give check, just hypothetically, if the bishops were here, that'd be mate. And that's the way to do it. The way to do it is to get the bishops on these two squares and deliver mate. So let's just show that. So hopefully you're seeing the point. Something like this, something like that, something like this, and 1, 2, like this. One more waiting move. Now look at this configuration here. Bishop on a7, bishop on b8, and then a king on a8. And that means that move is checkmate. Isn't that amazing? So even though this position looks totally gridlocked, there's nothing that you can do with regular chess. Remember, this is cooperation. You can force mate, or not force mate, you can create mate with these three pieces, with this nice bishop d5 mate. So let me ask you this. What is the minimum number of moves? I think when I was doing it, it was like, 5 or 6 or something? So you pretty much want to get this bishop here, and you want to get these bishops here. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That seems pretty optimal. And then you just keep moving the bishop, or you move the king. So let me ask you a bonus question. What if I were to put this bishop here on e3? Would you be able to win? The answer is no. So because the bishop's on the wrong side of the pawns, the bishop can never really get out, because like I said earlier, these pawns are blocking all the squares, which means you can never deliver mate. So it's important that the bishop's on the other side of the pawns, on this half of the board. That's the only way to give mate. So again, like the most optimal, I think, would be something like just move the king, get the king in the corner, just to show an idea. Something like this. Just moving the king to kind of waste moves. Is this the fastest way? Like this. Bang. Bang. And that is what? How many moves is that? 7 moves? I think I did it in 6. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, that's the idea. Just moving that and getting it in the corner. So let me know if you were able to find that. I found some of these helpmates to be kind of fun. So I'm going to post a few more videos like this. It's kind of like a chess escape room. You have to find the way to do it. It takes some cooperation, which maybe people won't like. It's not a regular chess puzzle. But it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And until next time, bye.